Confed, one of the admins of that team, and our own Wagon.
Yeah, definitely, I think a strong matchup. Orion is GM at the moment. Wagon is not, but Wagon definitely known for playing super memey builds. Most famously, Raven Widow Mine. I don't remember who that was against. I just remember feeling so bad for that poor Terran. Yeah. All right. So we're gonna take a short break for Orion to handle
Ryan just needs to
his
turn his map
business.
hacks on or something, I guess.
Who knows?
I'm just
So,
joking.
but this
Orion's
does
a friend of mine.
time. We have no idea how game one went, so we have no idea what happened. I have to assume that it was probably just a feeler match, and because it's a best of 7, Wagon was willing to let it go. But now I think is where we really start to get into the nitty gritty of a best of series like this.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure what these guys decided on. This might be a best of 5.
I could also see best of 5 here. Even still, you want to give yourself time to get a read on how your opponent's kind of playing, as well as get yourself warmed up. It's not like a best of 1 where if you lose, you're done. It is very much you have the ability to sacrifice a game to figure out how your opponent's playing.
Yeah, and I think Wagon is definitely a very unique player in the sense that he can do a lot of different builds and a lot of different styles.
So it's very hard to predict him, but it also gives Wagon the opportunity to study how Orion is playing or how he reacts to certain things, and then Wagon can put different spins on things. So if he knows how Orion responds to something like a Bane bust, he can then fake a Bane bust and go into heavy roach play. Something like that. It's definitely an interesting approach to the series, and it involves a lot of mind games, but it favors Wagon if that's what he's doing. He may have also just played out game 1 and gone, whatever. But if he's doing the mind games, and I know Wagon is definitely capable of doing those level of mind games, he has both the build of the depth, both the depth in his builds and his creative thinking. He should be able to. I definitely think he's not only capable, but probably pulling off something of that caliber. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how this series goes going forward. Do we know what map 1 was? I can check Discord.
I think
See
Wagon picked Frozen Temple.
let's see.
Yeah, they said start on Frozen, sure.
No, they started on Frozen Temple. So he missed Frozen Temple, but that's generally a macro game in both senses.
Okay, 1 second.
Of both races, it's generally considered a pretty heavy macro map. There's room for cheese and stuff like that, but generally people, especially when they play in a best of series and they start on Frozen Temple, you generally want to start off with macro. And now Siegfried is gone, so I'm left to entertain chat by myself. So, chat, how's it going? Is anybody there? Let's see who's here. Time to call out all the lurkers. All 13 of you. We've got Arcan Knight, we've got Cruel. I recognize Cruel. I think you've been in a couple Proxy Tempest tournaments.
Yeah, Krill's from Guns N' Roses. It's a pretty cool guy most of the time.
Fagan went. No, there's no Ed in that. It's Fagwen. Flanders992, who also shouted "Go Orion" in chat. So we're definitely starting to see some of the Confed players showing up. Got Quail's here. Imperfection still hanging out. Lando's here. Your base is here. TBBDD did not unsub despite the fact that he didn't get what he wanted. And Wagon's still hanging out in chat, but I think he's muted. Go Orion down with GNR. But yeah, oh, and Boo is also here. He's modded, so he wasn't in the list of viewers. So shout out to everybody hanging out in chat. I'm putting on my best streamer impersonation here to keep you guys entertained. I am also hungry as hell. all in-stream cheaters is not true. Shut up, got Quell, you're one of us. Infection's like, shh, it's okay. You want best of 5 or 7? Let's find out how long we are staying up for. He says it's up to us. Nobody's making decisions. No. You know what? We're leaving it up to chat.
Yeah, we do have to cast Nano versus your base after this. So I'm tempted to make this into a best of 5. Because I
Do you want
don't
to ask chat? Do we dare ask Twitch chat?
Does Twitch chat ever produce anything good? I mean, these are our friends and stuff, but like they're still idiots.
I mean, you can be productive with Twitch chat. You just gotta know how to use them right. I said let's bring in. It's the Thunderdome, and they're already chanting best of 7.
Okay, I guess we'll go for best of 7. Hopefully,
we're in it for
Wagon
the long
just...
game, guys. Oh, we're seeing 7-5. It's kind of split, but we are dedicated to best of 7, so best of 7 it is.
Yeah, let's just go best of 7. Fuck it.
We are in it for the long haul.
Okay, both players said go, so let's go.
Let's get this party started.
So, this will be the second game. Orion's currently up 1-0.
Yep, friendly reminder, Orion did take the win on Frozen Temple. We have no idea how that went, but I have to imagine it was a pretty good series. Both of these guys are very strong players. I would like to see what happens here on Game 2 on Kansan. Spawning in the top right corner of Kansan. I was going to do SMAKTV, but I was like, nah, it is Orion, also known as Izanagi.
Yeah. I was about to... I was thinking Total Havoc in my head.
Close, but right race, wrong player. Wrong team.
So, now we have here, in the bottom left, in the blue, it's Wagon.
I also will notice that I had totally forgotten that after... oh, Orion saying, shout out to Total Havoc, but misspelling name. But after... keep up more probes cap. Oh god. But I will say that after game 1, neither player in our previous series said GLHF. At least that I can remember. So the GLHS totally caught me off guard here. I was not expecting it.
Yeah, I actually didn't notice
that. So not as much salt built up here just yet.
Yeah, I'm sure once we get to game 3, game 4, there'll be plenty of salt, and the games will just start it with "fuck you" and something equally awful.
Oh well, Izanagi throwing? Oh, does not throw off the big fuck you by stealing 5 minerals.
Nope.
Instead, just faking it a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Oh, and here it comes.
I would say this is more annoying because he forces the drones to relocate.
Minerals, but does he see? Did he see it? He did not see the Nidus go down. He did not see the Nidus.
Whoops. Alright.
Oh god, he didn't see the Nidus. He almost saw it.
What the fuck are you talking about?
You don't see the Nidus? Oh, it's a spawning pool. It showed up as the Nidus when I saw it building it. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I'm done. This is what happens when you don't leave production tab up.
I was like, what?
I was like, what the hell? He's building a Nidus before pool? This is insane.
I wasn't sure if you're like trying to make a joke, and like I was like, should I go along with this? Like, what the fuck is he doing?
No, I'm just a dumbass.
It's okay.
He doesn't need to scout. He has map hacks. No, he has overlords. But what's the difference? Shout out to Tech4 for that joke.
Alright. So, nothing too crazy so far in this game. Interestingly enough, Orion started out here with a Stalker, which I think is pretty contrary to what most Protoss players go for with early adepts. I guess he just wants to get a bit more map control by forcing these overlords to, you know, get out of the way.
Somebody's balling out here with the soccer skin as well. I mean, doesn't need hacks. He plays Protoss.
The soccer skin?
The stalker skin.
Oh, if he said the soccer skin, like I guess that kind of
looks. I say the word soccer weird. It kind of sounds like stalker, I guess. But...
Yeah, I was thinking, I'm like, you know what? That skin actually does look like that stalker could probably play soccer if he wanted to.
Yeah, it definitely.
Like he has like shin pads.
Arcade idea.
Like he has shin pads. His hair's like slicked back, kind of. He could
He's got
probably
shin
play.
guard, yep.
He could play soccer.
We got a few lings. Speed just finishing now as well.
Oh.
Going for the stalker. But
Yeah.
that, well, there is a wall up with that depth there, so I guess going for the stalker isn't. Wow.
Interesting decision there, actually, to use that recall to bring back the stalker. I guess really just didn't want to lose those resources for that stalker.
This early on, yeah.
Also, kind of, I guess, like, calling Wagon's all-in bluff. Like, he doesn't assume Wagon's going to all-in him this early, so he's okay using that energy. Okay, so more lanes actually coming up at the front. We don't have a huge amount, but it's just it should be enough to break through this wall if he commits here.
Does commit, but I always wondered why Zergs don't split up against a Protoss wall like that and try and pick off at the pylon. Well, the majority of the force does go after the adepts on the wall.
Yeah.
Just because getting the pylon unpowered can be helpful, or getting the pylon to unpowered buildings can be helpful, but it also opens up the wall on multiple places. Which means that the Protoss has to cover more ground with their army. They can't sit there and focus on one choke point. And it could be that, links just don't work that well if you split them up too much. Or that exposing the surface area to the Protoss army just makes them die faster.
Yeah, I think it's also too kind of like an attention thing, because you have to manually grab so many of the lings, and you could be back at home doing other things too, right?
Yeah, macro cycles are important. I'd love to see Wagon take this Overlord that's in the back of Orion's Nat, morph it into a Dropper Lord and pick up some lings. Especially because he was unable to deny that third. Oh, but we do have a DT Shrine out from Orion.
Yeah, this looks like it's going to be a pretty standard DT drop opening. Nothing a Wagon hasn't seen before.
Good cancel on that third. He does get the cancel.
Yeah, Wagon really has gone for this kind of like a very aggressive style where he kind of sacrifices his drone count for a bit more lings in the early game, and he uses these lings to just control the map and force Orion to play his game. We'll see if... Okay, so Wagon has detection at home, so he's not going to take too much damage to any DTs from this DT drop. He just needs to make sure his units are in the right position. And the third
another cancel on that third base, and the adepts are forced to shade in to deal with the lings. Nice position there for the adepts.
Yeah, but there's still a lot of lings here. I think these lings can actually pick off most of these adepts.
I think they'll get the second adept, but not the third.
Yeah.
Because Mothership Core was there to assist.
Oh, I would have liked to see the lings try and kill that probe before it planted the Nexus down, but oh well. Finally gets the Nexus down, no risk of it being cancelled again, and you do have 4 DTs getting warped in. They will be dropped.
No, they already are in. They've been morphed into Archons and are currently being dropped.
So I guess Orion's just going to go straight into Archons rather than using them as DTs. Interesting.
Which is also a strategy. Oh, it's double Warp Prism, double Archon drop.
Oh, wow. Oh, I didn't even notice that. So
he knew that the Roaches were at the third base, and now he can drop that natural pretty cleanly. But the lings do reinforce, and the Roaches from the Nat push into the... I'm sorry, the Roaches from the main push into the Nat.
No, this
is...
Very
well done.
A lot of multitasking here for this build, actually. It's 2 Warp Prisms, so I think a lot of people might not really understand quite how difficult this is, but the Warp Prisms are very squishy, and can die pretty quickly, and that would basically result in these Archons dying. No detection over here at these at the 4th base.
Yeah, it just finished morphing in. I'm surprised Wagon didn't cancel.
Yeah, he picks off all the DTs before the Archons can do anything. These Warp Prisms will get out of here. No anti-air, sorry, at the moment. Interesting build from Orion. Oh,
yeah, I like it because it does force the Zerg to be at home and very much forces the Zerg army back because you have to deal with 2 Warp Prisms at once. You can't just depend on the reinforcements.
Yeah. I can't wait till we get to the point in the meta where Protoss players are microing 12 Warp Prisms at a time.
11 Ravagers. This is gonna hurt for Orion, and +1 melee attacks is interesting. And a very Roach Ravager heavy army opted for melee over ranged attacks, which I can't really fault him for because those lings do need to put in the most work. But the missile attacks, I think, would have been a good choice as well.
Oh, Orion's army just getting pretty much cornered into the back of this third base, and really,
corner the biles really hurt.
I think this is game for Orion. He wasn't able to really get off the harassment he wanted. It was very expensive to commit to that double warp prism with 4 Archons early on, and he didn't really get that much damage done. And Wagon was able to just run across the map and kill him at the same time. These Archons are at the third base doing a lot of damage, but I don't think it's going to be worth it. I think Orion's just going to lose this game.
Wagon is a base ahead, or was a base ahead at the start of what it basically comes down to a base trade, and got a head start by killing 1 base first. So now he's up 2 bases, he's got units to defend at home, he doesn't have any anti-air, so he can't remove the Archons, or remove the Warp Prism, so the harass is still there. But he can keep building units at home and has a significant advantage. Actually pulls his army home.
Yeah, I think he...
advantage he has, and pulls home to just clean up what remains of Orion's army.
Yeah, very good choice by Wagon, realizing what he needs to do in this game to stay ahead.
Getting +2 carapace now, but not getting another weapon upgrade. Even though he's floating 1,200 minerals. And
does he have +2 missiles already?
No, he doesn't have +1 missile yet.
Oh, interesting.
He only has +1 melee and +1 carapace. +2 carapace on the way. He's got 24 lings in production. Another queen.
Okay.
Orion trying to retake that third and building another immortal.
I think Orion's going to try to head across the map and try to keep Wagon on his side of the map.
It's Charge Lot Immortal Archon with some sentry backup.
Yeah, this is a decent-sized army, but I definitely think Wagon has the advantage, especially now if these Banelings being morphed into the field. They'll do so well against all those Zealots.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. This is definitely Wagon's fight.
Oh.
Biles are decent. Buys enough time for the Banelings to pop, and the force fields have already been used, so these sentries do not have a lot of energy. He really has to pay attention to these choke points.
Yeah. Oh, huge surround coming in, but luckily, Orion does recall. Wagon.
He recalls away from Wagon's army. He does have another Warpin and Zealots coming into Wagon's third. But there are three queens here, and with the upgrade advantage, he may actually lose. Oh, not gonna lose the hatch. Orion decides to pull back.
Yeah, smart choice by Orion to try to save as many of those Zealots as he can, because he wasn't going to be able to focus down that hatchery with all those queens nearby.
So Wagon, another fifth hatch on the way now, another queen, just starting +2 melee attack, but not getting +1 missile yet. He may be waiting for +2 carapace to finish, which happens in 10 seconds. But I find it interesting that in a composition, well, I guess +2 melee attacks impacts the Baneling's attack damage, right? +2, I think.
I thought Baneling attacks for spells. I don't think they get affected by upgrades.
I thought they do.
I'm not sure. I don't play Zerg.
Yeah, it's a melee attack.
Yeah.
So it is. So I think it's +2 Bane's one-shot probes. Yeah, because these +1 Banes put the probes on 1 hit point. So you need +2 melee to one-shot probes with Baneling. So I guess he's doing that to get the harassment. He's also getting centrifugal hooks now, so he get a bit sturdier Banes.
I think this game's just about over for Orion,
game.
And GG's called.
GG. Well played. Really solid game out of both players. A little longer than our last series would have lasted.
Yeah, that was a pretty nice game from Wagon. Really being the I'm not sure what you want to call it. He took control of that game.
Yeah, he had control of that game pretty much from start to finish. He was able to deal with and then respond to Orion's harassment without taking a ton of damage, which is really what made the difference in that series. Oh, can we please not do yellow-orange? Red. Okay, Wagon switched to blue. We're good. I'll just say that's gonna be confusing to look at. My goodness. It is 9:40. We have been casting for just about Oh no, just about an hour 50, an hour 40.
Yeah.
So I think we started at 8, even though we were supposed to start at 7:30.
Yeah, we started a bit later.
That happens. Sometimes things need time. But we're gonna start on Ascension to Ire. This was the really weird map with Bane hits. Yes. Oh no, this was the 6-base map. This was 6 bases for Fizbin. Spawning in on the top left, it is Confed's Orion. I'm just calling him Orion now.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what most people know him as.
Okay.
But in the bottom right, we have spawning here in the blue, playing a Zerg. It is Wagon.
Okay, so this was a very memey game the last time we saw this map.
Yeah.
Which I can't fault the players for. I happen to think it was very well done. Let's see if we can get something to go a little bit more standard this time.
Yeah,
So
we'll see
Wagon-
how Wagon decides to play. Wagon's definitely not a player I would really say is a standard player. And he is going for a 14 pool this game.
Yep, 14. Is it 14? 14? No, because there's no. Yeah, Orion getting the fast scout to get the pylon block. And Wagon's like, fine.
Yeah, so Orion should know exactly what's going on here now that he's gotten a scout.
Yep. Which is good. He knows what he needs to do. He started the low ground wall, but has not started the low ground hatch. He's the low ground nexus. Electing to finish off that wall, I'm guessing. Yeah, throws down the cybernetics core and
Yeah.
the second pylon.
He misplaced
Cancels
that
the
pylon.
pylon because he realized that the pylon was in the wrong place. Cancels it again because he realized he put it in the exact same spot, and now is good to go. So, fast link speed coming out from Wagon.
Yeah.
Zealots in production for
Yeah.
Orion, so he may be able to hold this. It is 6 lings headed across the map.
Yeah.
Versus
Orion
2
took
zealots.
the proper
Yeah.
response to this, which is to wall off like he did here. This allows him to get up his natural when he feels comfortable. The main goal of this basically 14 pool is to try to kill or deny the natural base from being built, pretty much. You want to either kill it or force it to cancel. Because normally if you're going for a standard game, you'd probably have your Nexus building right now. Oh,
Good
and
surround by the lings. Targets the probe down first.
yeah, this is not the greatest by Orion. He will be able to clean this up just barely.
Nope.
Ooh, never mind.
Well, he will with the mothership core.
Oh, one zap
Wagon
from a
will
probe
get in and
kills
get the
that.
scout off at least. And
Yeah.
a little bit of harass, even if he just picked at the shields of a probe. Now he's in there, he's cleaned up most of Orion's army, and forced Orion back into playing more defensively. He can't be out on the map with this adept, he has to keep it in the wall. Sentry on the way, which is a good sign. But does he only have one gate? Yes, he only has one gateway. Which means that his production is limited to whatever he can build out of this one gateway. And warp gate's only halfway done. So he can only have his reinforcements at this wall. If Wagon were to do something like drop or lord into an Orion's main, that's huge damage. We see an Overlord heading in that direction right now.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
That's a robotics facility coming down, but he still only has one gate, which is what's really concerning here.
Yeah, I think this is okay since I'm assuming Orion's trying to play a bit of catch up here. When you play against
Wagon's
this
doing
build,
it. Wagon's
does
doing
he?
the drop.
He doesn't have an Evo chamber though, does he?
He
He
does.
doesn't. He doesn't.
No.
So he won't be dropping. He's just scouting for now.
Well, he's got the lings in position at the third to just poke up at the wall. I would have loved to see the drop had he had that Evo chamber. He's
Yeah.
just getting his lair now, so it's a while off. But these sentries are going to tickle the Overlord to death, but not before he gets a scout on that Twilight Council.
Yeah, interesting from Orion to just put it right in his face.
And
Oh, it
cancels it, so
canceled.
it's a
Nice.
fake.
Yeah, I'll see if Wagon realizes that. Because it's very easy to just assume your opponent's like an idiot and to just put there because he was going to anyways. It's very hard to know when your opponent is purposely making a mistake as opposed to unintentionally making one.
Okay, well now he's getting 3 more gates, and warp gate is finished. And he was letting the mothership core chase those probes out onto the map. Oh, chase the lings out onto the map. But he's keeping them at home. I like the one ling there just to hold and be safe.
It looks like
on the way now.
Orion's definitely going for a two base all in, I would say.
Oh yeah, with this number of gateways and a warp prism on the way, definitely, I think he is. What is making a slow sentry here?
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I guess
He should have.
that pylon's not in range
Oh,
the
that pylon
gateway.
is not in range. Oh, he is actually working towards taking that 3rd base. He's just gonna drop.
I think it's just going to be an empty one.
Even
Or
if
a
it is an
fallback
empty one,
one.
the probe got killed before he could deny it, before he could even attempt
Oh.
to throw down the base.
Yeah.
Wasted overcharge there, really didn't do too much, and now it's really up to these sentries to put it to deal a lot of damage, because one adept may not be able to handle all of the lings. But Wagon definitely recognizes that something is up here.
Yeah, with how late this 3rd base is, Wagon definitely knows something's going on. Normally, I think you'd like to get that 3rd base down as Protoss around the 5:30 mark.
I like the Roche response here because it is adept immortal sentry.
Yeah, this isn't.
And lings, even though they fight well against the immortal and possibly the sentries, with the adepts in there, you need the roaches in there to fight.
All right, so Orion's coming up here. He's got a pretty decent position. Those force fields were okay, not the greatest.
Deny reinforcements, but they force him to fight with the roaches.
Yeah. All right, so drone's getting pulled here. This is still a very strong push. I'm not sure if Wagon has enough to hold. These Guardian Shield denying so much damage. Finally out of energy on these sentries, but that Immortal stays alive, and Orion's microing it all the way up to the top here. Almost gets picked off, but looks like with these reinforcements, Wagon does hold, but he is down in workers.
Yeah, down 34 to 41, but the army favor is in his favor, 44 to 16.
Yeah.
So now is the time for Wagon to push, and he's doing exactly that.
So
Yes,
Orion should know that this is... He just has to defend at this point. He's...
Oh, he actually took the Warp Prism into Wagon's main.
Yeah, he's just trying to get as much damage out of these units as he can. Interesting choice, I would say. We'll see if it pays off, though, because you won't have those units when it comes to the defense. He does have a full energy mothership core, and some sentries and an immortal out, so he has a decent force here to defend.
I think he is now, he's starting to at least slowly walk the Warp Prism towards his base. And Wagon does pull back from the push because the Mothership Core was out in position. Orion's still going for this harass with this Warp Prism, but that Immortal is very very low. One micro mistake and that thing's gone. And
Yeah.
with that goes a lot. It was the backbone of this push, I would say.
But
So
it's really a
gotta
nice
go.
way for Orion to use his micro to try to gain small edges in this game. Because every time he drops that warp prism, or like you said, warp prism, they're only losing a bit of shields for the most part, and he is picking away a ling or two, sometimes a drone. So it's just small damage here and there. And if you look at the worker count, I think it's paid off.
Yeah, 37 to 41 is a good advantage to hold, but he is still down almost 20 army supply. And with Wagon now having Ravagers, he does have the ability to fight around the Mothership Core, in a sense. But, you know, with 3 Immortals and a bunch of Adepts now, this is definitely a good position for Orion to be out on the map in.
Yeah, this is not a good position for Orion to be advancing up here. Has to back off. Take some damage on those adepts, actually. Decent force fields forcing the lings to fight against mostly adepts.
And he did take a couple vials with his lings in the front
God.
lines, which hurt. Oh, good vials there really hurt Orion. And the Mothership Core being along with this isn't bad. He's gonna get that time warp.
So much of this army is so bruised.
Yeah.
Holy shit, huge bios coming down on this army, but there's still so many immortals left over.
Yeah, the Immortals not getting hit by the Biles is what really matters here. The Adepts are doing their job, which is to act as a meat shield for the Immortals, to a lot of damage to the Roaches. And then the Adepts and Immortals can combined trade pretty efficient. Yeah, I'd say they could trade pretty efficiently.
That Warp Prism finally gets picked off, so there's no more reinforcement potential here for Orion. What he has here is basically what he has left for this push, and he's still on 2 bases. And he wasn't able to kill any drones with this push.
And that's GG. Yeah. He didn't have them mining at home to take a 3rd base and keep reinforcing the push, so he really was all in with that push. And Wagon held on just barely, but he managed to hold on. And with the reinforcements and the defender's advantage at home, was able to mount a solid defense. So 2-1 now in favor of Wagon. So there will be no sweeping or reverse sweeping here.
Yeah, this has been a pretty even series. I definitely feel like neither of these games have been stomps by any means.
No, they've been very close games. Wagon said he needs a second for water, but we should be ready to go after that. Yeah, even got Quail in chats like that was close. Yeah, that was definitely a great series by both players.
Yeah, I feel like Orion really got a bit more overconfident than he needed to be in that last push, taking a bit more damage than he could afford from those corrosive Biles.
Yeah, definitely the Biles really helped out Wagon. I will say that I would have considered Hydras in that position just to pick off the Warp Prism or forward place Spores. Which man leave the stream, please?
Oh, I think Wagon's in the viewer list or whatever. I'm not sure if I assume he has it muted or something.
I'm going to check. Whoops, forgot I had it open.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's out now. We're good.
Okay. So, getting into game 3 here.
Yep. No, game 4. Wagon's up 2-1.
The 3rd game we've casted, but the 4th game in the series.
Yes, very much so. Ceres 1, another good map. Spawning in here in the bottom right-hand corner, it is Confed's Orange Protoss, Orion.
And up here in the top left, we have All-In's Zerg Savior. It's Wagon.
The Zerg Savior of All-In, it's got to be one of the most contended for titles because our team is probably 80% Zerg, if not higher.
Yeah, you have to really be exceptional to hold that title in All-In. And Wagon is definitely so.
Wagon, I think, at least in my mind, is second only to Tang as Savior of all inspiration as a Zerg.
Yeah. Maybe Zoe, too. Zoe's really good.
Yeah, Zoe's definitely in there, but right now I gotta give it to Wagon. I haven't seen Zoe on a lot.
Yeah. And Orion going for another quick scout. Going for an aggressive build, it looks like, due to the fact that he is getting that gas really early.
Yeah, that's something we talked about in the Fizzbin Total Havoc series.
Yeah.
Was, when Protoss takes an early gas like this, they're either going to tech really hard or they're going to do something aggressive. And I tend to think it goes into aggression, but I would also maybe like to see a little bit of tech come out of here. Maybe a macro into a higher level tech like Storm or even Colossi. Well, maybe not Colossi because Wagon likes to go Roaches, but Storm could be really useful here.
Yeah, we'll see what he decides to go into with this extra gas. Wagon going for another 14 pool. This is a pretty I would say it's an aggressive standard build.
Yeah.
It's not all in. It's not cheese. It's just aggressive.
And there is a pylon blocking the high ground expansion for Wagon, so he will have to clean that up eventually. But he does get that level ground second base.
Right,
which is not necessarily bad for Wagon because he doesn't get a super far away base. He would have taken that as a third anyway. Yeah, people in chat are like, that's a broken ramp. Shouldn't that be the other way around?
Oh, shit.
No, this base actually features a high ground natural / third, which has rocks on both entrances.
Yeah, and we got 3 Lings in the main here, which is really annoying for Orion to deal with.
Yep, and he does get the scout off on that second base. Runs by the Zealots, but the Mothership Core will be able to at least poke and prod. He picks off 2 of the Lings, actually, which is... Will he get the 3rd? He does. So it gets cleaned up, but it took a little bit of APM and a little bit of Orion's attention away from things like macro. I don't remember if the Lings got pulled here. It looks like they did because this gas is just now being... The second gas is now being saturated.
Yeah, I think he probably pulled a couple drones there. They're about even on workers, and Wagon is getting his 3rd base up. So I would say a pretty even game from this point. Wagon definitely got a decent amount done with that build.
Yep, he did what he needed to do. He got into Orion's base, got a bit of scouting off, split his attention, and got his 3rd hatch up, which is what he needed. He's getting Ling speed now. It's a little late, but considering he'll be on 3 bases, it's not bad. And he was working on the rocks for Orion's natural, but they were shooed away by the Mothership Core. So Orion now knows that Wagon wants to be aggressive at that spot. He may also want to be extra secure on the other rocks just to be safe. But now there's a bunch of Lings here for Wagon to break down these rocks. It's going to be interesting. Pays attention and pulls away the Lings before the Mothership Core can do any damage to them. But he's on 3 bases. He'll have Ling speed momentarily, but a very fast DT shrine again for Orion. So it could very much be that DT drop style that led to the close game, but now we have a very early Bane nest here, about to finish up for Wagon.
Yeah, this is definitely a very aggressive Bane nest from Wagon. He's stopped at pretty much like 35 workers. Only going to make Lings from this point on, I think. And just going to be very aggressive.
Now to unsupply block himself, but yeah, after that I think it's just going to be Lings. Yep, there's 16 Lings in production. Yeah, I think this is definitely going to be Bane bust. It is... Was it scouted? I don't know.
I think just barely not, I think. I think that just walked right by it.
Yeah, because the Mothership Core isn't... Because I would have sat my Mothership Core there and let it poke away at the at the morphing Banelings.
Yeah, and he's not building any additional pylons at his like main entrance there. So that leads me to believe that he didn't see it.
But Wagon's on the other side.
And these Banelings are going to come in and they're going to smash down this front gateway here. Going right through. 3 more Banelings still alive. Bunch of Lings flooding into the main. And these Banelings could get huge connections. Oh.
Overcharge wasted on 3 Banes, so the Lings get free reign in the main. Well, not free reign, there are some adepts here.
Yeah, DTs will eventually close this, stop this Ling flood from killing him. But he's going to get so much damage done. Picks off the Cyber Core. Another Photon Overcharge goes down. It looks like he's just going to keep...
Unpowers the Twilight Council and the Robo Bay.
Yeah, going to pick off another pylon here. Probably going to kill some more probes. More Lings coming in. He's just going to keep flooding them in and try to pretty much kill off as much as he can.
Orion has 1 mining base and the probes are getting picked off. But, well, now the Lings are there. But there's no detection here for Wagon, which means his DTs get free reign.
Yeah, and even though the DTs are very good for this...
Oh, we got Banes morphing in on the left-hand side of that upper base.
Yeah, it doesn't look like Orion caught those, so those are going to come right in. And hopefully it'll be at a time where Orion is multitasking or doing something else. 2 Banelings coming in. Yep. Oh, Orion sees it and he pulls his workers. Nice.
And Photon Overcharge, good unit.
Yeah, that was a tense situation there.
Yep, so now Wagon has a pretty distinct 16 worker lead, 30 to 46, and it's still maintaining a worker lead, but I don't see a ton of detection. He has spores. He has a spore at the 3rd in this natural and the main, but I don't see on the unit list. I see 1 observer or 1 overseer.
Yeah, he did morph them into Archons immediately. Not going to try to go for DTs since they were scouted. Just going to use the Archons to try to pick off units and, recharge your shields.
I'd love to see Wagon throw down a Spire at this point. I think the Spires probably a little, after thinking about it a little bit after the last game and suggesting Hydralisk, I think Mutalisk might be a better choice, just because while they're still pretty squishy, I don't think they're as squishy as Hydralisks, but they also are a lot more mobile and don't require an extra upgrade in order to have good mobility. I definitely think that going Spire here would be the right choice. Pick off the Warp Prism. It's not great versus Archons, but he has such a good ground army that the Archons would have to fight either way, that he'd be able to use the Mutalisk to defend.
Yeah, this is definitely a nice map for Mutas because there's so much like high grounds and low grounds being connected that the Mutas can just fly around and go wherever they want, really.
And also, they're not affected by the rocks.
Yeah.
I mean, Wagon's already broken down. Oh, he didn't break down the rocks. He tried, but he did not. He had to run around the long way.
Yeah.
Wagon now takes his 4th base and secures it. He's got Bane speed on the way, just about to finish, actually. No additional check. He's just tech. He's just droning up.
Yeah, he's just gonna use these Archons and try to fight these Lings, try to kill off as many as he can.
Double Spine Crawler at the 4th base.
Orion's doing a pretty good job of this harass, actually. Just keeping the unit count chipping away at it. Forcing Wagon to maybe make more military units than he might want to, and just keeping the Ling count down.
Ravager's on the way, some Roaches on the way as well. This is definitely good for Wagon. A Forge down for Orion now, which means not only will he have access to the cannons, but he'll also have access to his upgrades, so he can make his existing army fight a little better. I don't think we have... Do we have a... That's Units on Structures tab. We do not have an Evo Chamber for Wagon at the moment.
No, so...
Which means that Orion can take an upgrade advantage, but he is behind by 23 army supply here. And rising. And he's behind on workers, and he's behind on army supply. I don't necessarily know that tech and upgrades is where he wants to go. His Warp Prism is spotted.
Yeah, I mean,
Choice there to just drop and pick up right away. He does see these Overlords hanging about, and Wagon is very close to supply block. But just manages, his good production keeps him alive there. 19 Banes morphing in.
And they do have Bane speed, too.
So now they're roly-poly Banes. Let's see if Wagon goes for those rocks again, or if he's going to go over to the 3rd. We see pylons coming in, so Orion knows this is coming.
Yeah, this is going to be
a long way around with the Lings right into the probe lines. And
huge arc here for Wagon. That was not a good use of those Banes, connecting mostly on 2 or 3 Archons. A huge amount of his army gone, pretty much. And that's a lot of commitment there from Wagon. And he didn't really kill much for it. It killed 5 probes.
And he got 5 probes with the Lings, rolled into the Archons. He kept Orion's army back, so he couldn't push the advantage he got from the force fields. But the Banes went in first and got trapped inside the force field, so they were dead either way. So I think rolling into the Archons was about as good as he was going to get, so he did it.
Yeah, and Orion cheekily using these Archons here to pick off these Baneleans before the fight even happens. And he's going to have 2 more Archons for this huge fight. Another huge arc from Wagon coming in here. No more force fields, actually, from Orion. And some of the Banes connecting with the bulk of his army. But I don't think there's enough here from Wagon, really, to clean this up.
Those bio hits were decent, but he has to fall back because he doesn't have actually any Roaches, really, in that cluster of Ravagers to really meet shield for him. And because there were still Immortals and Archons alive, he wanted to wait until he had something else to eat those hits for the Ravagers. Orion will see this thanks to the empty Warp Prism. Wagon Spire just starting now, and Orion going for shield upgrades.
Yeah, which makes a lot of sense since he's going for such a heavy Archon style.
Yeah, he needs those Archons to tank as many Bane hits as possible. So I definitely think shield upgrade is a good upgrade to go for at this point. You know, he's stabilized. He's cut Wagon's worker lead down to 4. He's held Wagon's push. The army supply is slowly catching up. Wagon morphing in more Ravagers.
The thing is, with Wagon has a decent unit composition for this mid game, but unless he can safely transition to Broodlords, Mutalisks, Hydras, Lurkers, something else, he's going to be stuck in this mid-game composition, which doesn't necessarily trade the best. And a huge amount of Banelings exploding on these Archons here, not exactly what you want to happen. And all of these Immortals at the back still alive.
Yep. Orion does have +1 attack, which is enabling him to trade a little bit better. But now Wagon also has +1/+1. Orion's about to get shields, but Wagon's Spire is also done, and his Infestation Pit finished, so he's already a third of the way to Hive.
Yeah. Hive's almost done. I assume he's going to be getting out Greater Spire and going for those Broodlords. Definitely a very nice style to use versus Protoss, especially when they're going for such Archon Immortal Zealot heavy styles.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so we actually have a question in chat that I think you're probably better off answering than I am. Cactus Man 500 wants to know what Thunderdome is exactly.
So Thunderdomes, Thunderdomes are just a best of 5 or a best of 7 depending on the player's time, where they just fight for $5. So whoever wins this best of 7 is going to win $5. It's just a show match pretty much, but I have my own map pool for it. So yeah.
So it's pretty much just a different way to engage players in show matches and get people not just to play StarCraft, but a way to play StarCraft that's just not, ladder maps and whatever. Because
there's so many tournaments, so many show matches that people have done where they just use the ladder map pool, or the current one even. And I don't know, I think it's kind of boring. I like playing on different maps.
I love how immediately after that started, Cruel calls out Cactus Man for a I'm assuming for a Thunderdome, but he just all caps. I call out Cactus Man.
I'm not sure. ZVZ is not the most fun to cast.
Yeah, there's a reason it's called the snooze matchup.
Yeah,
and it's
ZVZ.
not because it's double Z's. Yep. So big push out here for Orion, with some Ling harass over at his 4th base. Zealots trade really well against Lings, but not before probes get taken out. And now Orion had to push up a ramp into the Banelings.
Oh god.
He does so pretty effectively.
Yeah, and now Orion actually has an army advantage over Wagon in this matchup. Wagon's trying to tech up and get out these Broodlords, and that's very costly. So Orion's fighting at a time that's really opportune for him to strike. Bile's hitting a decent amount of this, but I think if Wagon isn't careful here, Orion can just come in and go for the throat.
Yep, the Biles are good, catches some of the Zealots retreating, but I don't know how good they really were. He's gonna hit a couple of those. He gets some good hits on 1 or 2 mortals, but not really all that much.
Alright, the Broodlords are finally out, and this is going to be a tough time for Orion to break this, because there's 5 Broodlords, put out so many Broodlings, and Orion doesn't have that much anti-air. Finally getting some Stalkers in here, but is it going to be enough?
Yeah, it's a really good question. Wagon's very forward with those Ravagers, and Orion gets good force fields off to kind of punish him for it, but these Broodlings are just tearing through the Zealot army. And with even just 2 Ravager Biles that Wagon has, he can tear through the shields and let the Broodlings and regular Lings just tear through these Immortals.
Yeah, and it looks like Wagon has weathered the storm. Really, he just needed to survive until he could get out these Broodlings. He did lose this base, but it was almost mined out. He lost a lot of units, but the fact that he has these Broodlords alive is such a good thing for him in this matchup. And +3/+3 is on the way.
Yeah, that's really going to make a difference here, because now Orion is forced into a very Stalker-heavy army. He's Zealot, Immortal, Stalker, and that is significantly weaker to the Banelings Wagon just morphed in. And now he's getting +1 flyer attacks, so if he decides to go Mutalisks to supplement the Broodlords, which I think would be a good idea, or even Corruptors, he's in a good spot.
Yeah, Orion really needed the kill in that last fight. We do see all these Banelings getting blown up here. He does have Stalkers, but they don't have Blink, which is a very crucial thing here. He can't Blink on top of these Broodlords. Orion really needs to just hold out here until he can get Blink, I think. And then
he did take out the last of the Ravagers, which means that there's nothing really to chip away the shields here quite as effectively. the Lings will do a decent job of it, but it's not as impactful as a Bile. And there are DTs out on the field now for Orion, which is good because I don't think there's a ton of detection out here for Wagon, but Wagon's already expanded all the way down to Orion's side of the map.
Yeah, Orion's just been very good with getting, Wagon's just been very good with getting so many expansions across this map that he can really afford to take a lot of bad fights.
13 probes are down in one of the bases.
Yeah, I didn't see which one that was. But...
It could have just been from that last fight and it's still carrying over. I don't know exactly how I like these DTs here. He's morphing them into Archons now. The DTs would have been good if you were going to do something like a run-by with them. Oh, Bane's all over those Stalkers. There's the detection for Wagon.
And there's the Blinks, but not enough units here. And Wagon takes game 3.
So yeah, we're just here having a good time. That's 3-1. Right? Or was that?
Orion suggested Gemini.
Okay, what's going on?
Orion suggested Gemini.
Orion suggested Gemini and then left.
Orion's retarded.
Because I've met Gemini. Oh, it was a misclick. Well,
okay.
Shout out to Gemini for just showing up and accepting the party invite without knowing what it was for. So shout out to him for that. Good guy. Good guy, Gemini.
Okay.
So let's get this last map going. Or let's get this map going. I shouldn't say last map because it is only 3-1.
Okay, so they've been through Frozen Temple, Ascension to Ayers, there's one. Kanzan.
I think he's looking up the map pool. Okay, so we have Ag. I don't know what Ag means.
I don't know.
We had Wind Waker, not Widowmaker, wrong game. Wind Waker, Planet S, and Expedition Lost. Now this is what happens when you don't eat dinner before cast. Oh god.
Okay.
In the Discord, Glenn's like, maybe I'll get a GM to coach me next time. I'll get Raz. Actually, I'll get Grip. For reasons. Alright, Expedition Lost is going to be our next map.
Okay, just one sec.
Siegfried. There it is.
Yeah, sorry.
It's okay. Keeping an eye on chat. People calling GG F to pay respect from Zatranis.
In fact, this is... It doesn't show pictures for me, but this is...
Yeah, I'm not seeing pictures either.
It's fine.
Yep. It'll be the map.
Okay.
Alright, we're good.
Okay, we're starting.
Alright, so it is currently 3-1 in favor of Wagon, going into Expedition Lost. Spawning in the bottom left, it is the Blue Zerg for all inspiration. It is the Wagon. It's the Wagon.
Yeah.
Not just any wagon. The Wagon.
And up here in the top right, we have from Confed, it's Orion.
Arkin's like, what cheese can we do here? I'll tell you, I have done proxy shenanigans versus Puddle on this map. And it worked out fairly effectively. If I had done it right, I could have won, but I am gold. I am not good. Therefore, not happening. Was this the map? Might have been a different map. Yeah, it was a different map. It wasn't Expedition Lost. It was like Expedition Lost, but not quite.
I can't remember.
Yes, I'm sore loser about that. Oh, see, this is what I was talking about earlier. I am salty when I lose. I just channel it into playing better.
Yeah. Okay.
Like Fizbin.
So it looks like Wagon's going to be forced to take a new base here, take a new base location.
Yeah, he could take the one on the other side of the rocks. He elects to instead go for the farther base. Away from...
I think that's a better choice. I don't really like that third base by the rocks. I think it is kind of disjointed, unless you like kill the rocks really quickly, and it's also much easier for the enemy to push you and fall back.
Yeah, very true. There's also the Selnaga tower that they can use to kind of, because if you take that third base, you then have to take that base above it as your fourth, and then you can use the Selnaga tower there to see it.
Alright, so this looks like a pretty standard game from both players. No one going for anything just crazy yet.
Orion walling off, so that way everything would have to go, at least if I'm seeing it right, I'd probably have to rotate. I think, nope, that is a perfect, well, yeah, that is a perfect wall off. That means that any lanes Wagon sends across the map to go into Orion's base, they have to go through the mineral patches.
Yeah. Well, GM level walling.
GM level walling, well, because when Glenn walled off on this map, or when Total Havoc walled off on this map, he walled off so that way it was a total wall off at the ramp. So, an interesting choice. Let's see how it pays off.
Yeah. And I think he can just fully wall off by putting a pylon behind the Vespian geyser there. I think that's big enough to wall that off completely.
Yeah, I believe so. Ooh, pardon my yawn. But Wagon is now going to be on 3 base economy. Another early pool, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, or another early pool based on that speed timing.
Yeah, but it's not too aggressive. It's not a 14 pool like it was in previous games.
Right, but he's still going to have the ability on 3 bases to have a decent army out on the map. And a very fast Evo chamber.
Yeah. Orion's really liking getting out stalkers early on to do some...
That surround on the stalkers, pretty good though.
And
recall does not work this time. That is a wasted recall.
Yeah, rip. Poor Orion. Not going quite right.
It didn't work the second time. So he cancels the Twilight Cancel, but keeps the Robo Bay. Which means we will not see the DT drop, unless that highlight finished, and I'm just blind. Macro. Oh jeez. Wagon pulls back. He will oblige. I don't know if Orion wants him to actually oblige, because Wagon's gonna have an extreme advantage. Up, drop her lords on the way. Where is that being morphed? Or where? Oh well, the upgrade is just at the finish. So where's? I'm assuming it's going to be that Overlord in the back.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Link speed. Oh, I'm sorry. Pneumatized Carapace is just Overlord speed.
Yeah, you just need the Evo chamber to upgrade.
Yeah, you just need the Evo chamber for Dropper Lords. Now I remember. Sorry, my Zerg's about as rusty as my Protoss.
Yeah, it's hard to remember all this like stuff about the races when you don't actively play them, or you don't watch like a million games every day like I do.
That is a lot of Dropper Lords, and like, 2 of them are about to be scouted.
Yeah, luckily for Orion, being able to scout this is really nice. But that adept got caught out there, which is pretty crappy for him. Unfortunately, only going to have 2 photon overcharges available for this, and there's only 1 pylon over here, so that can get quickly picked off by Zerglings. I don't see...
the natural's getting dropped first.
Yeah, and Orion actually only has 1 adept on the map right now. This I don't think this is looking good.
The overcharge goes down. It will target down a bunch of links, but the Gateway and the Twilight Council both get depowered. And the links are gonna just barely stop before they can do any health damage to that gate that hadn't morphed yet. He's elevatoring these links past the pylon wall that you were talking about earlier, pardon my hiccup. He's spelling it out for Wagon.
Poor Orion.
Oh jeez. Well, Wagon, I guess, a little bit tired. Arcanite, actually that's a really good question. Wasn't this the map that Life got caught match fixing on? I have no idea.
I don't know.
That is before my time in StarCraft.
I don't think Life match fixed on this map. I think that was out of the pool before he started match fixing. I remember Marine King got accused of match fixing on this map. Oops.
Interesting. So Wagon has an Overlord in the back of Orion's Nat that has 3 lings in it, and just picked up 14 lings and is about to drop Orion's main at the same time.
This is pretty interesting, because even though all this damage has gotten off, Wagon's almost even on workers. Orion really just needs to keep defending well, and I think he'll be in an okay spot.
But with all those lings that just went down in his main, it's not... he holds well and does pick off one of the Dropper Lords, but he got the one that had the less amount of lings. So it's not ideal, but certainly very well held.
Yeah, there's still a lot of links on the map here. Wagon's slightly behind in supply, but I think Orion's definitely not out of this game. It was looking pretty close to over a bit earlier. Overlord comes back in and is going to start picking off workers again.
Well, he's got +1 on the way, and now he has a Bane nest to morph in, so now he can do Bane drops, which means he's a lot less susceptible to these adepts.
Yeah, and he can pretty much just get guaranteed damage, and I'm not sure if Orion has seen that Bane nest.
Can't lose half his shade, but does have a Warp Prism out on the map now that can deal some damage. I don't know if I missed that earlier.
Yeah, I think he's been using it a bit.
1, 2, 3, and 4 for a total of 15 probes.
So now I would say Orion is pretty much all in.
Yeah, with these 4 adepts.
He's going to try to get as much damage as he can. He has the Resonating Glaives on the way, and he's just going to make only adepts from this.
A nice adept cluster at that 3rd base. And then shades out towards Wagon's natural, but decides to cancel the shades and just fight it to 3rd.
With all these lings coming back here and these Banelings, I think this should clean this up.
Yeah, this will be pretty well cleaned up. Wagon actually pulling the Banes back because he knows that not too many adepts, if any, were going to survive. Only 1 adept does, but this does buy Orion time back home.
Yeah, and they're actually not too far apart workers still. But a Wagon is on 3 bases.
And a tech advantage for Wagon.
Yeah.
And Wagon takes another expansion and is floating just now under 1,000 minerals.
Yeah, so Wagon definitely has a nice advantage in this game. Orion really doesn't have much of an army to speak of at the moment.
Yeah, a lot of that is in that Warp Prism that's just outside Wagon's main.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of Wagon's army is actually across the map at Orion's base in Dropper Lords.
Yeah, this isn't looking good for Orion.
Not really, no. And now Wagon's actually short on gas because of a lot of that damage that was done. So he's got to wait to morph in a couple Banelings here and there. He's just going to go without. Which I can't actually fault him for. But now Orion's got, what are they called?
Alright, Baneling drop coming in here in the main.
Archons. It's literally game mode. Wagon is Masters 1 Cactus Man, just looked over in chat and saw.
Yeah.
But yeah, because he has those Archons now, the Banelings are a little less effective at, I don't want to say zoning out Orion's army, but I kind of want to say ignoring Orion's army. Because the Banelings, when it was just Adepts, could ignore the Adepts and just detonate all over the workers. Now he has to be concerned about the Archons, because he has to worry about A, the Archons soaking the Bane hits, but B, he also has to worry about them picking off the Dropper Lords. There's no Stalkers here, it's just those 2 Archons. So a Dropper Lord away from those Archons is good,
Yeah,
but everything's picked off already.
and there's a Spire on the way here for Wagon, so if he gets out some Mutalisks, if he gets out enough of them, this could go very well. He won't be able to fight head-on with the Mutalisks because, you know, Archons destroy Mutas. But he could definitely go and kill Orion's base while this Link Bane is trying to fight. This is still going to be a hard hold, actually.
A lot because Orion just warped in 5 High Templar. I don't know why he warped in 5. There's number 6 for the 3rd Archon.
Yeah. So Orion's going for another very aggressive push here. I think this one is going to be a lot harder for Wagon to deal with if...
Yeah. So he's actually just giving up on his 3rd. And he's going to transfer those drones to his 4th.
So
and
Orion...
the Mutas are out.
Yeah, and Orion sees
get him
them.
Across without Orion's Archons killing him. And now Orion's warping in the Stalkers.
Alright, so none of the Mutas got killed there. Oh, if they clump here and those Archons get off a good hit, Orion really needs to spread this army out as much as he can to try to lessen the impact of the Banelings. I think there's just enough Zerg here to overwhelm this force of Protoss. Or is there? Oh my god.
A lot of the Mutas.
And Orion clinching this game.
Cactus Man, it is late. I haven't eaten dinner. I forgot the word Archon. Don't choose me 4 times in a row, please. Oh god. Oh, that was before the game, too. GG. Well played, 3-2.
Wow, that was a pretty good game.
Yeah, I agree with World is doing here. Wagon definitely could have base traded.
Yeah, I don't think there's a need to fight with the Mutas. I don't think they added a whole lot of value to that end fight.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Actually, looks like Neoplanet S will be game 6.
Yeah, if I can find it here.
Find the map.
Yeah, my custom game things is not loading very well.
Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, I'm not finding any of the Blizzard maps for whatever reason.
I found Planet T. Search for... I have it if you just want to make me party lead.
Sure. Make sure to
Game Heart.
yeah. Yeah, normally I'd find the like Blizzard versions, but it's not showing for some reason. Oh, this Neoplanet Lake.
Okay, I definitely clicked remake. I must have misclicked because of the latter edition. Alright, this is Neoplanet SLE, but it's not made by Blizzard. Oh, here it is. Nope, that's Korean Air. TE's Tournament Edition. Which one do we want? There's the ESL version.
Hold on, I found it.
Found it?
Here.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll just make you party lead again.
That's weird.
I don't know why, I couldn't find the Blizzard edition of it.
Yeah, I had to go to Blizzard, like switch to Blizzard maps, and then just scroll through.
Okay, that works. Well, we found it, guys. It says it's waiting on you.
Yeah, it's downloading something.
It's downloading the map most likely because we did it on EU last time. So
Okay.
definitely good play.
Yeah, that was like last game was pretty back and forth. I mean, like honestly, I had no clue it was like how even that was.
Yep, go. Ready to go. Did you just make us referees? You made us referees.
Yeah, that way we
God.
could talk to the players if need be.
Are you expecting a tie or a redo?
I'm not sure. I think it's pretty hard to get ties in ZVP.
Yeah, it's really hard to get a tie like that.
Okay.
I've actually only had one game ever come down to something like that. And it was, I think it was one of the seasons I spent in Silver. And me and this Terran both base traded at the same time. And I was like, I don't know what happens, but I'm just gonna kill him faster. And we both killed each other at about the same time. And I think I won it because I had earned more XP or something. I don't remember what exactly it said. It was so long ago.
Oh yeah, if I think sometimes in tournament games it'll make you win by XP. I'm not sure in normal ladder if that's how it goes, but
Oh yeah, it could have been a tournament game.
all right.
Okay,
So
Arcan Knight actually pulled up a good thing. Surprised no lurkers yet.
yeah, Orion's or sorry, not Orion. Wagon's definitely not a Zerg player. I think that really likes to go for Hydrotech very often. He normally kind of stays on like Ling Bling and then transitions into something further.
Mm-hmm. Alright, well, let's get these players introduced in the meantime. Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, it is the red Protoss from Confed. It is Orion.
And up here in the top right, playing for Lin, we have Wagon.
Is Wagon taking that far natural?
Yeah, that's interesting. I think he's just trying to throw Wagon off. Maybe think it's a proxy hatch.
Wagon throwing Wagon off with the proxy hatch.
Orion, so
Inception.
yeah.
We're all tired. It's okay, buddy.
Yeah, it's been a long day.
I forgot about Archons. Don't worry about it. But yeah, alright, so double hatch opening from Wagon with a pool just about to finish versus my phone is ringing. Can I get a pause? Yeah. So 3 minutes again. So this is what happens during tournaments. NSA calling.
Hello, you'd made some Google searches. We'd like to talk to you about them, please.
Why are you searching Zerg OP? Everybody knows you're playing the OP race.
Yeah, everyone at the NSA is a Zerg player. They just like, if you search up like build orders to kill Zerg, it's just like search blocked.
Search blocked by the NSA. We're coming for you. Actually, it's a funny story. When I went to Montreal, and I saw you at Montreal, but on the way back, it's not, technically it could be TSA, but I don't know who's in charge of doing border control at the trains. But at the border control agent who did, I don't want to say it was questioning, but who did my passport check?
Yeah.
Protoss. And I was shocked, because I was like, wait, they're people, and they play StarCraft. This is weird.
That's pretty cool.
I was like, oh my god, well, because he said, oh, you play StarCraft, what race do you play? And as soon as somebody says that to you, you know that they play StarCraft too. So I'm like, I play Terran. And then he got this disappointed look on his face, and I went, no, don't tell me you're a dirty toss. And he didn't say anything, he just kind of nodded, and I was like, oh no, not you too. Now they're everywhere. So that's my funny story. It's probably why I'm going back to Montreal.
Yeah, Montreal was a fun time.
Definitely fun times. I'm not bringing the giant backpack this time.
I mean, it did come in handy.
It came in handy more times than one, and not just for literally keeping a bunch of snacks in.
Yeah.
But I think I'm definitely... no, I'm probably going to bring a similar size backpack, but not the same one, because that one was old and dirty and broken.
It's kind of nice to, like, have a bunch of stuff that you can like bring around with you when you're in a foreign country in a city you don't really know. But
in a city that speaks it, that is the primary language, it's not your primary language.
Yeah.
French, technically, if I said I spoke French, it would be like my fourth language, which is not good. So, they thought I spoke French because every time I went to speak to somebody who didn't know who I was, they spoke to me in French.
Yeah,
even though
that's how Quebec is like.
Yeah, it's fair. It's Montreal. And I mean, it was still a fun time. I will say that even more handy than the backpack was the hotel room. My hotel was probably 2 blocks away from the venue, and it was so nice to just at any time be able to say, okay, I need to go take a nap. There's no matches I'm interested in, nobody's really playing in the LAN area at the moment. Let me just go take a nap for an hour and come back and not have to, while there was a napping spot in the venue,
wait, was there
pretty
actually?
crowded. Yeah, there was a spot. You could stay in that venue 24/7. You could sleep at the venue, and then, at 2 in the morning, roll up to the LAN area and just play at 2 in the morning.
Did you have to buy a certain ticket to sleep there?
I don't think so.
Oh well.
But they didn't provide anything. You had to bring your own sleeping equipment, as hilarious as that sounds.
I should have done that.
There was an area for people to go and, like, sleep and chill. The other nice part of that was, and this is kind of funny, so I'm going to be cautious saying on stream, it was nice to have a bathroom to go to that wasn't in a public place.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of nice, like, having a bathroom where you can be alone in. I don't know about you, but I don't particularly like being in a crowded restroom with other people.
Oh, no, I don't like it either, but I had my own hotel room. I told my friends, so, no joke, it was the NSA, I'm calling it. My roommate ran over a cat.
Okay.
Alright, you gonna unpause it? You
Yeah.
gonna do a countdown?
Okay.
So now we're back.
I don't know why his roommate would call him to tell him that he ran over a cat. Like, who cares?
Maybe he called him for bail money if the cat's owner pressed charges. Maybe he called because he was in emotional trauma. I don't know.
Who knows? Alright, so finally back into this game.
We are not NSA. We will never know the contents of that phone call.
Yeah.
Back to the game now. Alright, I made my joke. We're good. Let's get back to this game. Wagon running some lings across the map and then turns them around because the Overlord got the good scout. Warp gate and an adept on the way. Lol, map hacks activated, says Arcan Knight. Well played, friend.
We also have a Stargate here for Orion, so we'll see what he decides to go for. If he's
There
opening
is
Phoenix or if he's going for Oracle. We'll see what he decides to
Or
choose.
if he's gonna drop that sweet fleet bacon.
Yeah, and go 2 base Tempest. You never know.
2-base carrier.
Yeah.
I don't think Tempest is really that good in CVP.
Yeah, but it's funny.
It would be funny as hell, I agree. But realistically, you're gonna see carriers.
Yeah. Alright, so Oracle's
gonna be an
coming
Oracle.
on. Yeah.
So Wagon needs to get in here and do some damage.
Yeah, I don't think there's much Wagon can do. Ryan has a decent amount of add-ups on the front here, so he's not going to be able to bust for the front of just lings. And he doesn't really have any other tech, actually. Just going pretty greedy, I would say.
Yeah, that's what happens when you open 3 bases.
Yeah, and I think Wagon definitely has the ability to play greedy in this game. He is on match point, so he has 1 more game to lose before he has to really worry.
Yeah, I would say be worried all the time. Better to not have not have to throw away a game.
Yeah. And,
there are spores in each base. They didn't morph quite in time for the 3rd base to be safe, but he did get it, and that's what matters.
Yeah. 6 drone kills, not bad.
Yeah, not bad at all. And now he's got vision of approximately how many lings Wagon has. Orion's taking the 3rd base. He's kept Wagon at home for the most part. Starts a Twilight Council, so I'm guessing that was just a fake. And he could also go Glaive Adepts to hold himself until the Fleet Beacon comes down.
Alright, so a huge amount of lings coming out here actually. No Mothership Core in place here at the 3rd, so I think these lings will be able to cancel this 3rd base.
Nice mineral walk for that probe. which would have been surrounded had the Lynx focused it down. But he mineral locks it out, which lets him get out for free.
Yeah.
And now the 2 oracles here can just start picking off Lynx.
This is actually pretty good. I didn't think he'd be able to hold it, but he does.
Yeah, it's a good hold overall. We lost the 2 pylons. If Wagon had focused down the Nexus instead, he would have gotten it. But he instead, and I think correctly, chose to focus down the pylons so he couldn't use overcharge to get him.
Right. So no more energy really on these oracles. They can't use their whatever the fuck beam anymore. Purification Nova or something. I don't know.
No, that's disruptors.
And these Lynx should be able to get in here. These pylons are not quite done yet. We'll finish just now.
Smart overcharge placement, as expected from GM Protoss. He overcharges the pylon that was slightly behind, but was not taking shield damage.
Yeah, and looks like this game, Wagon's actually going to go for Hydras, as Chat was saying earlier. You haven't really seen much of that this game.
Well, Chat called for lurkers, but we do have muscular augments, and we do have 6 Hydras. But I think that's the right call from Wagon, because this very much has the potential to go to carriers.
Oops.
Which would be the difference. It doesn't look like it, because Orion is going double Forge, double Robo.
Yeah, we'll see
But
what...
I still think Hydras here help.
So he's probably going to start pumping out some Immortals from these Robos, and just get his upgrades going on 3 bases. We'll see how the Wagon goes to respond to this.
Wagon is currently also supply blocked, so he needs to make Overlords. But he's got a Bane Nest coming down, and a 4th base, some Overlords. Once the Muscular Augments gets in, the Hydras will be speedy, and they can move. Honestly, they can kite, but I mean, they could technically kite Zealots, but they're not really kiting much else.
Well, I mean, versus what Orion has right now, this amount of Hydras is actually very scary, and I think they can actually go in here and just steamroll this food base.
Yeah, the army's falling back, so there's virtually nothing here to defend except the Mothership Core, which the Hydras can snipe off. The token amount of Stalkers and Adepts here. Oh, good trigger on that Stasis Ward by Wagon. Wagon will get the Mothership Core, which means there's no more overcharge. The upgrades are being slowly cancelled.
I think this push is just way too strong from Wagon. I don't think there's that much Orion can do about this.
No, there's not. He's being walked too far behind. His 3rd base has been cleaned up. He's already gotten 1 upgrade canceled, or 1 upgrade denied. Stalkers with their strong DPS are taking out pylons left and right. The probes are pulled, and the token force that Orion has to defend here, while it is blank Stalkers and Immortals, they still have a long way to go before they're cleaning up this Hydra. Wagon says macro enough for you. Oh geez, see, this is what Thunderdome is about. You get the taunt, the BM. There's not so much BM as much as it is just taunting, but
yeah,
Wagon's right. That was macro, and that's what Orion wanted.
Yeah, there was 3 bases, and
there were 4 bases.
Orion just can't macro, I guess.
Zerg macro OP.
Yeah. And so yeah, Orion's pretty much out of this game, I think. He's lost all but his main base. Doesn't really have much to go for here. Orion's just going for one last desperate push. All the probes are pulled, coming out here losing so many. GG Cheese Boy.
GG Cheese Boy indeed. Big black hats in the chat. Give it up for Wagon. 4-1. Sieg, please. What are you gonna do? Pick maps that are not shit for Protoss. That you could do. Airbase says be out. Give me some good maps, he says.
Alright, so
And before fruit he said the ladder pool. No, that's the whole point. He missed the rant. He was in game because we had the rant during his game.
Yeah. Alright, so that'll be it for our broadcast tonight. Nano versus Quiet, or sorry, Quiet, that's his Discord name. Nano versus your base. Yeah, won't be casted tonight. Nano had to head off. But,
so we'll be doing those from replays another night.
Yeah. We'll see if they can reschedule. I don't think they didn't get to play all of their games, so. Yeah, I'll hand out the money to Wagon as soon as the stream's over. Thanks for tuning in, everyone.